Ladies and gents, welcome back. Pierre Poilievre pulling through and agreeing with the average Canadian voter that there is indeed a conflict of interest if someone who is representing the Canadian constituency has ties to a globalist entity with differing opinions and values than the Canadian voter. Now, he came out on social media at one of his hearings, one of his town halls, or maybe you call it, he came out to say this.
And that is why I've made it clear that my ministers in my government will be banned from participating in the World Economic Forum when I'm in government. Work for Canada. Work for Canada. If you want to go to Davos to the conference, make it a one-way ticket. But you can't be part of our government and working for a policy agenda that is against the interests of our people.
Hey, well, that's a sentiment that a lot of people tend to follow. But of course, a little bit of hit back from the establishment types. Here we have Brian Lilley, who writes for the Toronto Sun, coming out saying, when Stephen Harper was PM, he used his time at the World Economic Forum to push Canada's agenda. He sent his best ministers like Flaherty and Baird to do the same and attract jobs and investment. Pierre Poilievre is buying and selling false narrative to win leadership. Now, I reported recently that the World Economic Forum is actually getting tax dollars from the Trudeau government. So I don't know how we're getting investment from the World Economic Forum. The influence seems to be peddled the other way, and we're giving to the World Economic Forum the more we get involved with them, and less investment towards us and more towards what it is that they would like in society. In fact, it's what Klaus Schwab himself, the leader of the World Economic Forum, has been saying at his own conferences.
What we are very proud of now, the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina, and so on, is that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more, half of this cabinet are for our actually young global leaders of the world.
Young global leaders of the World Economic Forum, we have penetrated the cabinets. Well, hey, let's not take his word for it. Let's take Brian Lilley's word for it. Here he writes an article, Pierre Poilievre shills conspiracy theories to sell memberships. Stephen Harper wouldn't be considered good enough for a cabinet position in government led by Pierre Poilievre. In his latest pitch for voters from the fringe, the Conservative leadership candidate said he wouldn't accept ministers attending the annual summit of the World Economic Forum. I mean, we heard his words right there. If you clearly have a conflict of interest, he doesn't want you. It seems that would be the case. Of course, Pierre Poilievre's campaign co-chair, John Baird, would be fired since he attended and spoke for Canada at the World Economic Forum in 2014. I don't know if he'd be fired, but maybe he would be asked his allegiance and where he stands. Are you for the constituents of Canada, or are you for a bunch of global cabal that doesn't have our interest at heart, that are looking to do other things with their influence other than what the Canadian voter wants? We do have a representative government after all. The World Economic Forum, founded 51 years ago by German academic Klaus Schwab. If you don't know what he looks like, he's this guy right here. Oh, here he is with his daddy. On the left, you can see founder of the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab. On the right, his father, intimate confidant of Mr. Funny Mustache Man, the industrialist and fascistimundo, Jürgen Schwab. That sounds like a medical device, a horrible one at that. In uniform, Klaus Schwab was born in Mr. Clankety Clank Funny Mustache Man's Germany in 1938. At the time, his father was in charge. And, well, we're not going to go with the sins of the father, but when you follow in your father's footsteps and espouse for, I don't know, maybe merging corporation and state and getting rid of capitalism and the ownership of property, probably gonna side on the fact that maybe you followed in his footsteps here. But I digress. Here's Brian Lilley telling me that that's all just made up. German academic Klaus Schwab has held an annual summit drawing government and business leaders from around the world, likely, though it has become the focus of legitimate concerns over the influence it wields over the subject of several conspiracy theories. Oh, goodness. Wouldn't want to get involved in one of those conspiracy theories. I think we had one of those before. Was it Justin Trudeau? This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset. 2 months later, the Great Reset's a conspiracy theory. Don't pay attention to what's behind door number 2. None of this is true, says Brian Lilley, but it's shared widely online and with the people who buy into these conspiracy theories that Pierre Poilievre is trying to attract in his bid to win the leadership of the Conservative Party. He posted a video clip of one of his recent speeches where he said a Poilievre government wouldn't allow participation in the annual summit. I would agree with the fact that if you have allegiances elsewhere, don't work for the Canadian government. I think we can all agree that if you don't want to represent people in your constituency, don't run for office. That's the idea. And we should if people don't represent, because we do have a representative democracy in this country, let's not hire people that aren't going to actually represent us, but are going to represent somebody else. If you are that of the type that want to bring on whatever the World Economic Forum wants to bring on, yeah, go ahead, vote for those people. But I think we should have a choice here and not follow what Brian Lilley's saying. And that's why we have made it clear that my ministers in government will be banned from participating in the World Economic Forum, Poilievre said, to great applause from the crowd. Yeah, of course. Why not? Why wouldn't they applaud that? If you want to go to Davos, go to that conference and make it a one-way ticket. But you can't be part of our government and working for a policy and agenda that is against our people. Right. And that was that clip right there. This video and Poilievre's new policy on the World Economic Forum is nothing but garbage aimed at sucking in people who believe half-truths or outright lies. When Stephen Harper or his ministers went to Davos, they weren't working for a policy agenda that was against the people of Canada. They were selling Canada. And I would ask, to what benefit? What good did it do? And is the World Economic Forum now bending to the will of the Canadian people because of Stephen Harper's involvement? Or did it do very little? Now, Andrew Lawton was talking about this yesterday because he's actually there in Davos for their big establishment meeting that they have every year. They're putting that on right now. And Andrew Lawton from True North was over there. He was speaking about it, and he was saying, well, you can't have it both ways. Either they're important and they peddle influence, or they don't peddle influence. But then at that point, if they have no power, then why are we even involved at all? Why do Canadian leaders bother to go if they have no power and no say at all? So what is it, Brian Lilley? Are they all powerful? Are they not powerful? What is it? And is it a conspiracy theory? Because only a few months ago, it seems, we weren't even allowed to talk about it. If you brought up the World Economic Forum at all, that was a conspiracy theory, as if that didn't even exist. The the idea of oh, that's right, a great reset. Yeah, maybe the book that Klaus Schwab published back in July 9th of 2020. So just as the pandemic was kicking off, this guy is such a prolific writer. He had a whole book with a plan ready to go that he just came up with on the top of his head as a pandemic was about to kick off. Amazing. It's almost as if he had that ready to go. And well, here's our leadership in Canada. Chrystia Freeland, our finance minister and deputy prime minister of Canada, member of the World Economic Forum, and she's a member of the forum's board of trustees. Can we not say, without the establishment coming after us, that this is a conflict of interest? Oh, yeah, and maybe she has some ties to the old clankety clank groups too. Yikes. Published in 2017, mind you. Let's not forget. Anyway, that's enough of me going on about this. But what is it? Can you have your cake and eat it too, establishment? Let me know in the comments down below. Is the establishment reaching? They've told us that this was all a bunch of malarkey, a bunch of fake news for a long time, and now reporters are actually going to the conference for the first time in seems like forever since the 1970s when the World Economic Forum was established. Anyway, leave a comment in the comment section down below. We'll see you guys in the next video. If you're not subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and we'll see you in the next video. Keep on trucking.